Hey guys, Ziv here again. I just wanted to talk about becoming a dad at a young age. I've been a dad for 10 years now. It's definitely more fulfilling than any amount of money I've earned so far, or any business achievements I've had, or any other personal achievements I've had, or anything like that. So that is my greatest achievement. I was 24 when I first became a dad. So yeah, just a few things about young fatherhood, my journey through the years, and what it's like, the goods, the bads, and the uglies. So before I became a dad, I went traveling. I wanted to see the world and get a bit of life experience under my belt. At the time, I wasn't thinking about having a kids or family that much, but as I traveled, I knew it was on my goals of things to do in my life. And I got home back to Australia, and I went back to working in mining, fly in, fly out work, which isn't ideal for getting a partner. But I eventually found one. Actually, I found one at one of the lows in my life, which I guess if they find you at that stage, then they're going to stick with you a long time, which turned out to be true. But yeah, I had no license, no job at the time. So things were not looking good, but I was living life to the fullest and enjoying it. Then I went back to the mines. We were pretty happy together, you know, first couple of years, went traveling a lot. Made it to Annapurna base camp. And then we decided, let's move to the next chapter. Let's see if we can have kids. And for various reasons, we didn't think we would be very successful in trying, which was great for me. It meant lots of trying, right? But yeah, we had no idea how long it would take, so we thought, let's start trying. Maybe in a year or two, once we get doctors involved, things might come good, but let's start the process. And bang, first thing, straight off the bat, we were pregnant. So it took us by surprise, big time. But yeah, that's part of the journey, right? You never know how it's going to work out. Then we decided together, I don't want to be a fly in, fly out worker, you know, miss life with the kids. I really wanted to knuckle down and do it right. So I decided a job back in town would be the best bet. And then, well, not necessarily a job, but being back in town. And I thought about going to university. I always told my mum, I'll go to university when I'm 30, because I wanted to live a bit of life and figure out what I wanted to do before going to uni. And I thought it would be cool being a bit of a mature age adult. I wasn't ready to go back to school, you know, 4 years after I'd finished school. But the income of, you know, doing an apprenticeship, and then the career progression of doing an apprenticeship sort of resonated with me. I liked working with my hands, doing tradie stuff, which I knew from my mining days that, you know, that was really something I liked. I was concerned about my body though, and how long my body would last, because I really thrashed it on the oil rigs, being a floor hand or a roughneck. That really thrashed my body. So I was really concerned about that. So I wanted a cushy apprenticeship, and I got a carpentry, which isn't too cushy, but you can't take your pick when you're mature age. Anyway, I had my kid like 6 months into my carpentry apprenticeship. My baby was born. I was 24 years old. He was a little boy, and you know, you fall in love like you've never really fallen in love before, and you just want to do better. You really want to do the best you can for your kid. And it really, I was working from behind. A lot of my friends were, you know, finished uni, heading on to their careers, and I was only just starting an apprenticeship. So I double knuckled down. You know, we renovated the house we were in. I was pretty lucky because my wife was, or my partner at the time, was pretty set up with a house and everything, whereas I was still young and dumb and all of that. So but yeah, that really set us up where we could have kids pretty comfortably. But yeah, it wasn't easy being on a apprentice wage. And then yeah, I double knuckled down, and I just decided I want to if I do move out of being a carpenter, stay in the same field. So I did a diploma of building design as well. I gaslighted that in the evenings, and our baby was bottle fed due to various reasons. And I was up at night because of some of the work could be palmed off to me now, right? My wife didn't have to do all the feeding, so I did a lot of the bottle feeding at night while she was recovering, especially in the first couple of months, and then we sort of shared it. We have like a little roster where her night, my night, whatever it was, or somebody was too grumpy to get out of bed and push the other one out. But yeah, so I would study in the evenings, I'd work during the day, I'd have the kid to look after, and I just tried to move ahead with my life as quickly as I could. And that love and that passion that you get and that drive of building a family when you first have a kid was, I reckon, really important to that. I've been driven at times, but I don't think I was ever as driven as during that time when I had my first two children. They were 3 years apart. It was really that first child, it really changed my life, and I just sort of went, I have to do this, I have to succeed, I have to man up. I'm pretty young. Only two of my other friends had children before me. So I was sort of, and one of them was like his kids were, pretty grown up. He had his kids when he was like 17 or something, his first one. So they were already a bit older. And another one of my mates had another kid. But yeah, basically no one I knew, and even no one my wife knew, even though she's a bit older than me, really had kids. We were sort of the first in our group to do it. And so yeah, you got no one to relate to tell you stories of being up all night. I mean, everybody knows the stories, but they can't relate. And then but all of that hardship and pain, yeah, I barely remember it now. I have to make this video, I really have to think and go, yeah, I actually did go through all of that. I was up all nights, sleepless nights. At the time, it didn't affect me so much because I'd come off, mining shift rosters. I was used to breaking up my sleep like crazy anyway, switching from night shift to day shift, all of that. But yeah, and I've always been a really good sleeper. So it was always the wife elbowing me to get me up to even feed the kid. So yeah, it was, but yeah, I don't really remember it. I just really remember the good times, and even they have sort of dimmed a little bit. I wish I remembered them more, I wish I could go back and relive them, because yes, there's hardships, but the hardships make the good times so much better. And looking back, you just want to relive it. So I think I just enjoyed every moment while I was in it, and I have no regrets, doing it all. It was a really, really fun and great experience. And now I've got two, almost teenager boys, 10 and 7. And it's a totally different game, You're dealing with, I wish I was dealing with sleepless nights. That's such a simple problem to have, right? And I'm sure when they're teenagers, it'll get even more complex. And you start growing a little bit apart. Like when your kids are babies, you are their world and you mean so much to them. But as they start becoming independent, I find it, I mean a little bit, I still love them to the same little bits that they are, but things get a bit difficult. They get smarter and they can start arguing with you, and every day isn't the best day anymore. But when they were babies, every day wasn't the best day either. You had sleepless nights and they got sick and whatever. But it's just about being in the moment, spending the time you can with them, even though you're working so hard to build a life that you can. Really balancing that time becomes important. So yeah, I don't think I have any regrets. The only thing I regret is not being there as much for them. I really make a point to go camping heaps, get out bush. One-on-one time, we made a huge point of not bringing TV into their lives too young. Even now, at the age that they are now, we just do it on the weekends during school time. and that's just one movie on a Friday night and a Saturday night, so that we can spend a bit more time together. But you know, they're off at school, we're working, then in the afternoon sometimes we want to chat, sometimes we need to do something in the garden, sometimes they're just reading or playing their own game, and so the contact really is very diminished. So yeah, I find it really important to go traveling a lot, spending time like camping, where it's raw time where you're just with each other, and yes, there might be arguments or whatever, but it's that human to human connection where you're not in front of a TV or whatever. And we play a lot of board games as well, and they're really great because you get to see inside their mind a little bit. I'm sure a video game would do the same. We haven't tried that yet. I love video games. I've nothing against video games, but we're just trying to not waste our lives online and, you know, spend a bit of time while they're young setting their foundations in the real world. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, I don't know. You know, they might come out of it and not know anything about being online and be totally naive and get totally ripped off or bullied or whatever. I'm not saying my way of doing it is right or wrong, it's just what we're doing. So yeah, I think that one-on-one time, that's back to the regrets thing, that's what I probably am sort of resentful for, that some of the time I spend with them isn't the best quality. Like sometimes you're just telling them to shut up, like, mate, stop whistling in everybody's ear all the time, or, you know, screaming at the top of your lungs. And yes, they might be playing or whatever, but you know, it can drive you insane when they're just being little rats. But you shouldn't let it get to you, and it sometimes does. It doesn't really get to me. I just stick up for my wife, really, and I shouldn't do that either. She keeps telling me, like, don't tell them off because of me, or what I'm feeling. Like, I can do that myself, but you know, I want her in a good mood, you know, every day, so I can get a cuddle at the end of the day. And so then I project some of that onto them, I guess. Like if they're doing something that might upset her, that I put my biases on there and then I tell them off or whatever. Not saying that I'm actually pretty, you know, strict and will give consequences, you know, over confidently. And sometimes, like a lot of the time, my wife says I don't follow through with them. Like I'm giving consequences and not following through, which isn't good either. You know, I have my flaws. I'm not the perfect dad. All I can do is try to be the best that I can with my kids, and I think that is spending time with them, whether it's good quality one-on-one time, like everything is yay, this is awesome, or even just getting through a few emotional fights. But it is time spent with them that you'll never get back. It's the good and the bad, like when they were babies. And you know, I wish I could go back to when they were babies, because that was such an awesome time. And I wish I could go back now. And if I go into the future and then think about what I would do when I would go back, it would be to spend one-on-one time, right? So yeah, that's the priority. But it does get hard because you're still trying to earn a living. I'm growing a business, or trying to. It's hard work doing business. So sometimes, you know, we get home from school, my wife's at work, and I have to jump on the computer, and it totally sucks. But some things can't wait when you're the only person in your business that can do it. That's my big takeaway. Spend time with your kids. Don't have any regrets. Like just do it. Go all out with having a family and having kids, and don't look back, because it'll be the best thing you ever did, I reckon. You learn so much about yourself, and you learn so much about the world. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts about being a young dad. It is tough because you often haven't set yourself up in life, but it's also the greatest thing you can do, and you'll get so much love out of it, and happiness and joy, where it's going to be one of the most fulfilling things you do in your life. I think it's definitely more fulfilling than any amount of money I've earned so far. or any business achievements I've had, or any other personal achievements I've had, or anything like that. So that is my greatest achievement, and it's put a whole lot of other goals aside in my life, but I don't really care, because that was one of my primary goals. I had other goals like sailing the world and stuff like that. I couldn't do that while trying to support a family. I mean, there are people that do it, you know, you pack up everything and you go sailing. It's just, I had other goals as well, and balancing them and giving a stable life for my kids, all of that. This is where I've ended up, and it is great. Like, just going, me and my two boys, you know, off on a four-wheel driving or camping trip out bush. It's the most best feeling, where you just get away, you cook some food on the fire, they go off and play, you know, you have a hard night's sleep, they wet the bed, whatever it is, you have a great story to tell at the end of it, and you're just having fun, and they're growing up, and you're so proud of them, and all of that. And you look at their achievements and the challenges that they overcome, you know, and it just puts a grin on your face, just even thinking about it, talking about it, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you're on the fence about whether you guys want to do it or whatever, I recommend go for it. And the younger you are, I think the better, because the more life you have in you, and the more chance you'll get to see your grandkids, all of that. I think we're getting in, especially in a Western modern society, to a point where the average age of parenthood is just getting, you know, up into the 40s, you know, at least the 30s. And then if that happens twice, you know, you have it in your 30s, you're going to be 70 before you have grandkids, and you won't be able to help out as much and be part of that community, you know, that is so good culturally, where humanity has come from, where generations look after each other. You know, the parents are the working ones, and the grandparents look after the grandkids, and that way the kids don't have to get put into childcare so early. All of those things is really important, and that it really helps with all of that, to have kids while you're young. So yeah, go for it. Even if you're a lot older, go for it. I think there's never a bad time. I reckon kids are the best. So yeah, cheers for listening. If you stayed around this long, then do us a favor and hit like on this video. Maybe subscribe if you haven't yet, that'll help us out. And I'll be putting out more yarns or real chats like this. If you don't know much about my channel, I go through everything DIY, and having kids is one of those sorts of things. I just talk about my life, what I've done, and how I basically hack through my life, if you can call it that. That hill was a killer to walk up, and it's a cold day, so my lungs seize up. I used to be a smoker back in the day. I used to smoke like a freight train. You know, those 50-gram pouches, it'd be one of those every couple of days. Anyway, not good. So my lungs hate me. So sorry if I cough every now and then. But yeah, I've built my own house. I love to go traveling. I love to just figure stuff out myself, do it myself, because it's cheaper, it's fun, it gives you life skills, all of that. So on this channel, I'll just be doing that constantly with whatever I'm doing through my life. So yeah, stay tuned. It's going to be awesome as this channel grows. So cheers guys, I'll see you on the next one.